How are you guys doing in these stormy new moon and Virgo energies? As I sit down to record, it's just gone after 8:30 p.m. my time. I think 8:33, just turned 8:33. I believe the new moon is occurring here in the UK at 2:55 in the morning, and so we're about 6 hours and 22 minutes out to be exact, I believe. So already we're picking up on these master numbers, 8:33, 6 hours, 22 minutes. It's happening at 2:55, 1:55 GMT. So 5-5, that's change, right? And it's very specific if you're dealing with, numerology as it pertains to tarot. That's a Hierophant. So it's systemic level changes. And then if you're looking at it from the standpoint of astrology, that is a degree of Leo. So you're speaking about shifts in systems and even the possibility of things that are being born that put us more in alignment with the honoring of our hearts, which is really what the Leo energy in Lionsgate prepares us for in general. And of course, then we have the 11-11 energy coming through with the sun presently in Virgo at 11 degrees and the moon moving into Virgo at 11 degrees for tonight's new moon. So 11-11, that is a calling card of the age of Aquarius, and it is Aquarian energy astrologically speaking. It's an Aquarian degree, and it is connected to Libra in the tarot. It's connected to the Justice card, and in older decks, the Strength card, which is Leo. So balance, justice. There's a lot of judgment flying right now, and the gates are opening into the new earth. The gates are opening into the new earth, the materialization of new earth contracts. And as the gates open into the new earth, it is shutting down the old, not only the cycles, the clocks of the old world. And for those of you who hang out with me over on Substack, when I say that, you'll know exactly what I mean, because that is what today's message was that I was sharing with the collective. Today's message was the written and the audio. I do both written and audio versions of these messages I produce over on Substack. And so today's message was all about this, and it's open to the public, this message. So I will put the link below if you have any interest in going further in what it is that I'm going to be touching on tonight, as well as my regular new moon collaboration with Demi Peachel of the Starfire Codes is going to be coming up later on also. So you can, for those of you who are already on Substack, that's what's coming up. And for those of you who, have yet to explore the platform, then I invite you to do so. I give you the invitation. Alrighty, so before we get into this, I want to take a moment to say hello. Welcome if you're visiting for the first time. Welcome if you are one of my longtime viewers, supporters. I love you guys. Thank you so much for all the ways that you show up and you show out and you support me. I really do appreciate you. Welcome to those of you who have been here from the beginning, or you've joined somewhere along the way. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this time with me. Time is one of our most valuable commodities, and this is what this new moon is also linking us back to the remembrance of. Okay, we'll get into that in a minute. For those of you who are joining me for the first time, just to give you a little bit of a brief look at how I deal with these energies. I am not a classically trained astrologer. I have my own methodology around reading astrology based upon what I unlocked within my own soul, what I got from my guides. I joke, and that's not really a joke because it's true, that I did all of this in other lifetimes. I don't ascribe really to most schools of astrology. Simply because, well, there are a few that I think are really cool, but especially like Western astrology, I don't ascribe to that model, because I believe it is and has been used to keep us stuck in these karmic loops that this new moon in Virgo is here to bust us out of. So the way I read the energies, I look at the astrology chart, but I break it down in accordance with how I've been taught to look at astrology, which will overlap with some, classical ideas around the zodiac signs and the planets, as well as things that, I've channeled about these energies. I channeled the planets and the luminaries as well. So it's channeling, tuning into astrology, utilizing the power of tarot to read the degrees and the underlying energies, as well as numerology. Okay, so it's a very comprehensive look at the energies, and what I love about tarot astrology, as I call it, is that you can't miss anything with it. You can't miss things, and what I mean by that is if you don't get it in the placement of the planet or the zodiac sign, you're going to get the answer in the degree or in the energy that is underpinning the degree as it's connected to the tarot. Because there's so many ways of viewing the energy, it gives you more of a, I guess you could say a picture, right? For me, at least, it's how I feel reading the energy. Okay, so let's get into it. New moon in Virgo. Okay, so Virgo on the astrological wheel. On the astrological wheel, Virgo is the sixth zodiac sign, sixth sign of the zodiac, and so as such, it rules over the sixth house. Virgo in traditional astrology has to do with various things: health, body, routines. For me, it is all of that, as well as how you value yourself and how you therefore create routines and cycles, habits and behaviors that are always mirroring the truth of your self-value. And I get that also because if you break it down and you look at the tarot, the three cards of Virgo in the minor arcana are the 8, 9, and 10 of Pentacles. So that's all about investing into your value in order to create legacy. Now, not for nothing, the 8, 9, and 10 of Pentacles, the 10 of Pentacles specifically, is the closing out of an energy through the tarot. So the beginning and the opening of an energy is the Ace of Wands. The closing out of an energy is the 10 of Pentacles. Then you have the court cards and you have the major arcana cards also. But how energy moves just regularly, its final materialization, resting point, a point of full fruition to the point where it has been established, it is blossoming, it is blooming, it is adding. It's the 10 of Pentacles, okay? So Virgo is a sign that brings us to a certain level of material completion. On the zodiac wheel, it is the sign that brings us to the halfway point of the zodiac wheel. So as Virgo closes out, we close out the first half of the zodiacal year, okay? Now, traditionally in astrology, we break down the sun's movement in each zodiac sign as being about 30 days, give or take a day or two. But this isn't necessarily true. So astronomically speaking, if you look right now in the sky, I'm guessing the sun is probably still in Leo. Now, when the sun does move into Virgo, astronomically speaking, it will stay there for sometimes up to 60 days. The sun stays in Virgo longer than it stays in any sign on the zodiac wheel, and it shows you the significance of why. Because Virgo is the sign of the zodiac that is concerned with you perfecting your soul. And when I say perfecting your soul, I'm talking about being so liberated and connected with your truth in both mind, body, and heart that you are able to activate and live in accordance with your purpose, and nothing and nobody can take you off that path. Because the first 6 signs of the zodiac are all concerned about self-alchemy. From Aries to Virgo, it's all about focusing on self, focusing on the establishing, the healing, the alchemizing, the balancing of your mental and your emotional bodies as it pertains to your spiritual story. And once you get to Libra, from Libra to Pisces, it's how you take that energy out and you begin to share it in the world with people and in your various endeavors, whether they are work-related, creative, about community, what you came here to share with humanity, and ultimately what your life's legacy is here on the earth planes. Okay, so houses 7 through 12 deal with how you take that energy out into the world and you potentiate it outside of self. But you can't properly potentiate anything that isn't first actualized within. And so Virgo is this checkpoint energy that helps us to get to this place of really understanding where we stand with our own souls. Okay, so if you've been rolling with me for a few years, you'll know every time the sun moves into Virgo, astrologically speaking, the one phrase that I will always speak on is radical honesty. Virgo is the sign of the zodiac that calls us into self to be a true soul detective. Okay, Virgo and Scorpio are the two signs of the zodiac that are detectives. Okay, they share a glyph with just slight changes because they are the detective signs. Virgo helps you to really go into go and alchemize and shine a light on all those things you need to see about yourself to be true to yourself. Scorpio is kind of the energy that helps you to alchemize when you start to get in intimate relationships and there's that mirroring effect. And you therefore get to see parts of yourself in another person that you weren't seeing before. Scorpio helps you to really accept the fullness of your expression. Okay, that's just one aspect of what the Scorpio energy does. But Virgo, this is where you begin to really do the deep soul wrestling to help you rise into your truth so that you're prepared to go out into the world and to have relationships with other beings where you can be self-honoring and therefore also honoring to them. Okay, so this is what Virgo is about. Virgo is about us tuning into our value. Virgo in the Tarot, it is the Hermit card, the number 9 card. So it is all about these solo soul journeys to get us to the next stage of our cycle, which would be the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, now, if you know anything about the Hermit card, you'll know that in most, the Rider-Waite-Smith collections and those decks that are inspired by the Rider-Waite-Smith original deck, you'll see a Grim Reaper type character carrying, hunched over and carrying a lamp. Okay, and that's no mistake because Virgo comes right after Leo. And Leo is all about tuning into the heart and really activating the power of your solar plexus by following your heart. So your solar plexus is how you connect to your divine will and purpose and begin to actualize it materially by aligning with your heart. And that's what Leo does. Leo gives us the access to the ability to begin to materialize our divine purpose on earth and to stop running from it. Okay, it helps us to develop the emotional alchemy where we're no longer afraid, where we're brave, where we're courageous, where we push past the societal norms and the ways we've been programmed against ourselves. That's the Strength card in the Tarot. Leo helps us to push into those gates that help us to elevate into our truth by way of being true to our hearts and then taking that energy and utilizing the power of our will and our passion and our motivation to begin to pursue it. Okay, and then Virgo comes around and says, oh, you finally discovered how to wield the power of your light, but let me help you now to fine-tune yourself in all ways so that you know how to actually utilize the power of your solar energies. You get your solar energies back through Leo season. I spoke about that in the new moon in Leo especially. Every year when the sun enters into the sign of its domain, it's a solar return on the earth. You get replenished with the solar energies you need for the next solar cycle on an individual level. The same thing occurs when the sun returns to the same place that it was when you were born. And oftentimes it's actually not the day. The sun will return, sometimes will return at the degree of the same day, and sometimes it's a day before or the day after. But when the sun returns to that degree, that's your solar return. Yes? So, Yeah. So when the sun returns into Leo, it's your solar return. So you're getting certain light codes and information to activate you higher into your heart's purpose and truth. And then Virgo says, okay, now I'm going to show you how to be responsible with what you've been given. I'm going to show you how to alchemize it. I'm going to show you how to break through the densities that once upon a time existed before this came into your fields. I'm going to show you how to bring order into both your mind and your heart, as well as into how you organize yourself so that you're able to properly wield the power of what it is you've been given. That's what Virgo comes and does. So it's kind of like if you all of a sudden became a freaking, sorry, go ahead. If you all of a sudden became a freaking millionaire, right? Yeah, you go out and just blow the money. Yes, you could try to figure out how best to deal with the money. But a really smart thing to do would be to align yourself with someone who knows what it is, whether it's a financial advisor or even someone who's been a millionaire and is managing their money well. The best thing for you to do is to align yourself with them and to get tips on how to properly wield the power of what it is you've been given, so you don't find yourself broke. Or better still, so you know how to invest that money and you can get a return and you never have to worry about money again. And this is what you see, like not everyone is cut out to hold that amount of money, or frequency. We'll call it money for now, but because you see people who will win the lottery, or you'll see people who get rich and famous very quickly, and in a couple of years they've lost everything, because just because you're able to get it doesn't mean you have the mentality, the maturity, and the mindset, and the knowledge and the wisdom to know how to maintain it and to look after it, okay? And Virgo is a sign that has deep wisdom. If you look at that Hermit card, he's old and wizened. He's a sagacious motherfucker. He's walking around with that lamp. That lamp is supposed to be your solar energy. He's going to show you how to use that lamp to move to the fucking Wheel of Fortune. He's going to show you how to use it and to spend it wisely. He's going to show you how to not scatter it everywhere or to give it away to who doesn't deserve it. He's going to show you how to utilize the power of what has been given to you so that you get a good return on your return and your investment, and that you know how to go out into the world and multiply it in such a way where you don't end up depleted. That's what Virgo helps you to do, helps us to do. So Virgo is really a beautiful sign for helping to put us into check and order in accordance with our ability to align and rise up into our true value that we have gleaned through Leo, through the 888 portal specifically, okay, every year, as well as all of the other soul sun work you've been doing that has accumulated over the year, over decades, over the lifetime, and over many incarnations, which is why the sun spends more time in Virgo than any of the other signs, because this is how important it is for you to know thyself, right? That's what Virgo helps you to do, know thyself, which is why every time the sun moves into Virgo, that word, that phrase, being radically honest, comes up. You must be radically honest, even if you don't know what to do with that honesty, in the sense that you don't have a plan. Don't try to run from your soul this season. Don't try to run from the things you're being shown, the things that you've been seeing first and foremost in yourself. But for another thing, Virgo is a highly intuitive energy. All of the signs are intuitive in their own way, but because Virgo, biologically speaking, rules over the gut, right? It's very in tune with the solar plexus also, but with your intuition. Virgo is kind of connected to both the solar plexus and the sacral, because Virgo shows you how to take your solar plexus energy to begin to harvest, to sow it in order to reap and to get a good harvest. That's what Virgo does, which is why Virgo also is very connected to the grain goddesses. Furthermore, Virgo is also very connected to the womb energy, right? So Virgo is connected to the virgin energy, which I know we think a virgin is a woman who hasn't had sex or hasn't been touched, but that's a lie. Okay, that's what virgins became over time. But virgins, once upon a time, were those women that were set apart spiritually speaking, because they were such powerful creator beings. And you can't be a powerful creator being if you don't know how to connect with the power of the womb, and not just the womb physically, but the womb metaphysically, and most importantly, the cosmic womb. So Virgo is the energy that helps to take us back into the womb as the void, the starting point of where all things come from, and where all things must return to die also. Virgo is very connected to both death and birth, just like, not sister sign, but sister glyph, Scorpio. Those are the signs of the zodiac that are really focused on helping us to understand and overstand the importance of putting death to certain things that need to go, right, in order for a new cycle to start. You can't continue, like, if you have land, you can't continue sowing into the land all year round and expect to continue to reap a harvest every year. You can't, the land must rest. The land must have its period of death. The land must have its period of recuperation in order that the next harvest it brings for you is a good one. You know what I mean? And Virgo teaches us, reminds us of this wisdom. The wisdom of rest, the wisdom of dying, the wisdom of transition, the wisdom of what we need to do to restore ourselves and to live in proper balance and alignment with the cycles and the seasons, which brings me to the clocks. Okay, so the download I've been getting for a little while now, and I'm seeing as we move into this new moon in Virgo energy, why it was coming in the way it was, is that all of these cycles within the false matrix were connected to clocks. Now, not physical clocks, but clocks. Every cycle, in other words, has a beginning and has an end, just like the face of a clock, right? And just like you have a biological clock, right, where all of a sudden you were told that certain things begin to occur when you turn a certain age. That's your biological clock. But by what function does that work? How does your body know it's this age? How does it know it's time to do this? What is it connected to cosmically that tells it what it's supposed to do? Oh, could it be the zodiac signs? Could it be the constellations? Could it be also that the fuckers and the architects that created this fucking prison planet, the false matrix, could it be that they've been fucking with your clock systems? And they've got you stuck in the time-space continuum so that you can't be who it is you're supposed to be, and there are things that are happening within your own biology that divinely aren't supposed to happen. Menopause and menses. I've been thinking about this for the longest time, because to me, you can't make me believe that a woman is supposed to bleed out every month and be in pain, and that's part of the divine design. Yes, there's power in it, absolutely, because we're creator beings. We found the power in it. But I do believe, and I've been shown in a myriad of ways, that it was part of the harvesting cycles of the false matrix. It's a blood sacrifice. And it's one of the biggest ones that they were able to do around the clock. Literally, around the clock. Because think about it. If the whole point of the false matrix remaining being what it was to bind the feminine energy and to then take distorted masculine energy and cause it to be on top of that energy to make sure that it's submitted to it. And this is masculine energy, not men, because we were all fucked, all royally fucked. This isn't one gender is better than the other. It just is what it is. The divine feminine energy is what connects us to creation. Whether you're a man, woman, transgender, non-binary, it doesn't matter. The feminine energy that flows within us all, that feminine or yin principle, is what connects us to the cosmos, gives us our intuition, gives us our download, helps our whole energy system to light up and to be able to draw in everything that it is we're supposed to draw in order to honor the seasons and the cycles of this earth in accordance with where it fits cosmologically. And all of that was cut off. So the divine feminine energy was purposely cut off And the only way they could keep their fake creation cycles going was through siphoning feminine energy through these rituals, a blood ritual. Okay, so you can take that, think about it, meditate on it. You don't have to align with what it is I've said, please. This isn't what it's about. I'm throwing it out there because I'm sure for some of you, you're just like, wow, that's so true. Some of you are like, yeah, I already knew that, but thank you for the confirmation. And that's great, you know, but we need to start, you know, putting all of this stuff out there that we're being shown, because we all have a different piece of the puzzle. And when we come together, we're going to get the whole fucking picture, okay? And that's what they don't want. So 11:11, okay? This is where we are. The gates are opening. What are the gates opening to? They're opening to the new earth, opening to the new timelines, the new cycles, the materialization. How are the materialization of timelines coming through? Well, that must be connected to some kind of clock structure, right? Okay, so even in today's sunrise salutation, I was speaking about how in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, which when you break it down etymologically speaking, Genesis means to splice genes, to break them apart, gene, cis, right? And let's not even talk about the sister part. We won't go there, right? But that's what it is, Genesis, right? In the book of Genesis, right after the flood, all of a sudden human lifespan dropped dramatically to the point where later on in the Old Testament you hear, I think it's maybe Solomon in one of his exhorts is speaking about this, and he's saying that a person who lives to 70 years has lived a good life, and they're hashtag blessed, right? And so 70, a score is a cycle of 20 years. So 70 is 60 plus 10. That's 70 years. Not for nothing. 77 Saturnian energy. Saturn is the planet that is in charge of the clocks that run the planet. Okay, so all of the clocks are connected to the planet Saturn. Every planet has its role in keeping everything in harmony. Saturn aligns us with the clocks, the timelines, everything that allows for us to rise into where it is we're supposed to be and to not go where it is we're not ready for on a soul level. Now, they fucked us over with the abuse of Saturnian magic, and they exploited the beauty of what Saturn was actually here to do in order to, well, to keep order, exploited it, and now everything is going back to how it was supposed to be before these assholes, you know, these egomaniacs, took control of our wheels, and we let them, truth be told also. We may have been tricked, but we let them. You know, so there's a shifting of the clocks, and maybe when I say that, it resonates with you also because you've been feeling it viscerally. There's been a lot of confusion the past couple of weeks, and yes, we can say, oh, it's because Mercury went retrograde, and yes, that would be one of the reasons. The fact that we've been in very heightened mercurial energy also, with the Sun and Venus at one point both in Virgo, Mars and Jupiter making their way through Gemini, and then Mercury retrograding at the same time. That's a fuck ton of mercurial energy, and mercurial energy is very unstable. It's unstable because it's here to give you the raw stuff of creation, which is unstable, right? And then you make what you want of it a lot of the time. But it can, if you don't know what to do with it, if we don't know what to do with it, if we become intimidated by it, it can really fuck us over. It can bring in a lot of confusion, especially to our timelines, right? So we can say that the confusion was because of the highly mercurial energy, but I believe all of this shit is working together in order to bring us to this point where the new moon in Virgo at 11 degrees is like, time's up on these motherfuckers. What you saying, suckers, right? You know, like, no more of the timeline fuckery unless we want to participate in that, because of course it's always down to free will, you know? So the clocks that we've been programmed into that has been fucking with our DNA and genetic expression, it feels like those clocks are no longer going to be in existence, and the only way we will continue on those schedules, Virgo energy, right? Every September they try to throw you back into the schedule, right? The only way it's going to work is if you adhere to the old schedule. If you believe that that schedule is greater than what you know in your own soul you're able to do. And this is where things like immortality and all that other stuff starts to come online, which is being brought back onto the earth courtesy of the activation of the dragon energy that's being born again through us, through our internal cosmic egg. That's a whole other story, right? Because that dragon energy is birthing our old latent divine power that we haven't had access to since the previous golden age. And in doing so, it's clearing out the death and destruction cycles that had us bound in these time loops where we started to decay because we couldn't get higher. We couldn't evolve, right? So that's what the false matrix had going on. They had you stuck in these clocks where you couldn't evolve. You couldn't get past a certain age, and even if you got past the age, your quality of life was screwed because you were sick, because you were still stuck. You fought against it, but you still were somehow stuck, unless you were able, and some have, and kudos to you, people who have done that, those of you who are rolling in your 70s and your 80s and looking like you're 40 and acting that way too. You know, that's because you chose to separate your mind from that, from those programs a long time ago. That's why you are where you are. You get what I'm saying? So the minute that we decide that we're not going to pay attention to the shit that they're trying to drag us into with their spells, right, and their schedules that are designed to invigorate and activate and detonate their clocks and their spells, is the minute that we start to be able to reconnect with things like our latent power to create out of nothing, or to reconnect with our immortality templates, because the truth of the matter is you didn't come here to die by sickness and disease. That is, again, a result of being stuck in these time loops. I've talked about this before, about how water that is alive and flowing will stay alive, and it will flow everywhere. It will go through the water cycle, you know, become a cloud and come back onto the ground. It will become a rock. It will nourish a tree. You know, it will become a part of the air. Or it will continue flowing into the sea or into the ocean or into a river or a brook. But you take that same living water and you put it in a jar and you close that jar up and you put it on a counter, and that water becomes poison. That water becomes poison. It becomes toxic. Same water, different conditions. This is what they did to us. They took us, infinite beings who were infinite immortal beings, and then they put us in a limited container, energetically speaking. And in that limited container, because of the energetic fuckery and the programming us into loops and their various clocks, death cycles were introduced, wrongful death. Because rightful death, there's an ending for everything in order for things to continue. There's a time to rise out of every cycle and for it to die in order for you not to die. Let's put it that way. But they didn't let you die. They didn't let you graduate into the next cycle. They let you continue dying and therefore being stuck in the cycle, which again is another form of what? Sacrifice. Okay, so can't stay here too long tonight, and I'm already on a roll. Okay, so we got the gates opening up into the actualization of the new earth timelines that are bringing back onto the earth planes the dragons, yes, indeed, but also our immortality templates for those of you who are ready to reconnect with that. It's not for everyone, it really isn't, because to get there will require whoever has already touched that before, or who desires to touch it. It requires getting past all of the densities that have kept you stuck for thousands of years. So every time you want to go higher, you got to collapse all the densities that kept you from that place originally. And some people will get to a certain level in their journey and they're happy where they are, because we're not all here to connect with that energy. We're not, but it's available, and it should have always been available for those who want to take that path, right? Mercury in Leo at 23 degrees. So Mercury just stationed to go direct a few days ago. And I did a write-up on this last week, Wednesday. right? Because it was so interesting to me that Mercury stationed to go direct right around the same, at the same degree that it was at back in July, right around the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. Is it Jupiter and Uranus? Mars and Uranus, right? Yes, sorry, the Mars-Uranus conjunction. And then we had a Mars-Jupiter conjunction recently. Yeah, the Mars-Uranus conjunction, which was really explosive because it met at Algol, right? 26 degrees Taurus, which is like, Algol is Medusa's head, right? So this is like, you fuck around with the Divine Mother's children and now you're about to find out kind of energy, right? So shit started to get popping around that time. And it was like, what, the 16th, I think, of July? 15th of July, 16th of July, that window. And Mercury was at 21 degrees Leo on Wednesday the 17th, when it kept going until it began to station to go retrograde at the very beginning of August. It was already all the way through the first decan of Virgo, pretty much, I think. Then it said, station to go back. We're going to take you back a little bit. We're going to go back, right? So then Mercury was like, blip, 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 back through Virgo, blip, 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 back through Leo, blip, 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 blip. Okay, we're at this place where I got to remind you of something again. 21 degrees of Leo, right around that Mars-Uranus conjunction. So think about what was going on at that time for you, because it was a very heightened time, energetically speaking, also, because when Mercury stationed to go direct a few days ago, it was helping something to be brought into balance from that time period very specifically. And that story is going to continue, okay? So anyway, Mercury is at 23 degrees now, okay? So it's moved 2 degrees since stationing to go direct. 23, not for nothing, is a degree of Aquarius. So we got the Sun, Moon, and Mercury showing up and showing out at Aquarian degrees. Are y'all hearing me? The gates to the age of Aquarius that connect you with your timelines are now open. Okay? And this is what Mercury is speaking to us. But Mercury is also Aquarian degree in Leo. So we got the coming together of the two golden ages in this energy, right? So Mercury's helping us to reconnect with our golden age wisdom. That is a lot of what we acquired through the 888 portal, were those codes that are here to reconnect us to the previous golden age, to bring what it is that we need from there alchemically to anchor it into the new golden age. This is what 2024 is about, and I've been talking about this since the beginning, the end of last year, right? How this is the year where that 8 energy, we get back to the motherboard, the foundation, the seed point of where all of this occurred, where the false matrix entered onto the earth, but most importantly, where the false matrix entered into your heart, my heart, because it was through us that this became actualized, and the earth in her glory fell. Okay, so this year is the year where we confront that seed point in order to alchemize those wounds and get to the golden wisdom and knowledge that we're here to reseed, to put back into the earth from all that our souls carry from the time that we lived through that also. So Mercury is lighting us up right now, helping us to remember some of this wisdom. Helping us, especially with that very high magician energy that's been happening with the Virgo and the Gemini mercurial energy already flowing. It's helping to give us back the remembrance of how we create our magician energies, the creator templates, how these clocks actually work. Mercury is opening our minds again to remember how we made all of this once upon a time. Right? Good and bad. So, not for nothing, Mercury at 23, 2 plus 3, again, that's the breaking down, that's the 5. Okay, so we got 5 in the time, 5 here. And as I say that, Venus is in Libra at 5 degrees. So we've got a lot of 5 energy showing up today. And a lot of 11 energy, because not for nothing, both Neptune and Pluto are at the 29 degree mark. Pluto has literally just re-entered into Capricorn as we enter the new moon. Literally just happened not too long ago, right? Maybe today or yesterday, I don't remember, but hasn't been there very long, because the last time I looked at it, it was still 0 degrees Aquarius. I'm just seeing it now. Pluto has left Aquarius and entered into Capricorn, because we're going to get we're going to properly begin to materialize the golden age wisdom from the previous age that needs to be put back into the earth. 29 is a degree of Leo. Okay, so we've got Neptune, 29 degrees Pisces, Pluto, 29 degrees Capricorn. The closing degree of a sign is Leo energy. So this is all golden age wisdom that's being replanted into the earth. The things that need to come down in order for it to come forth in our souls first, in our remembrance, so it can be activated on the earth, is coming through. Okay, not for nothing, because Pluto is in Capricorn again. This is also talking about the birthing of the material contracts too. Virgo, all of the earth signs are concerned with the material. Virgo is concerned with your value. Capricorn is concerned with the actualizing of it, in terms of the agreements you make on the earth planes. Okay, so this is what we're dealing with. This is also showing us that there's an undoing now of any sticky contracts that are dead. They've been dead for a while. They died with the full moon in Capricorn in 2022. But other beings have been holding on to it for dear life, because they're not ready to ascend and to move on into their higher cycles. And they don't want you to leave them either. And this is not necessarily physical. It's also on a soul level. So there's a definite destruction of those energies that don't want to let beings go, as Pluto retrogrades for the last time in the sign of Capricorn, before when it moves back into Aquarius, it won't be entering Capricorn again. This is the last go around. Okay, so Venus in Libra at 5 degrees. Venus loves being in Libra, because Venus rules over Libra and Taurus. Okay, so Venus is helping to equalize the systems and the fields in order that we can reconnect with our ability to create in accordance with who we are divinely, and we can live beautifully as was intended from the beginning. You did not come here to suffer, to be slaves, to be part of a workforce, to constantly have to live in fear and anxiety and survival mode. That's not your birthright or your true destiny. And Venus is here helping you to align with what is actually rightfully yours, putting everything into balance internally as well as on the earth plane systemically, in order to make that even more possible through this new moon in Virgo energy, where the gates to the age of Aquarius are now wide open. Okay, Mars is closing out its time in Gemini, and it's been tough, because Mars has been a good soldier, plowing through the mental planes and helping us to let go of the programs and all of the fear-based agendas that our minds were connected to, that aided to our constantly being stuck in loops, constantly adhering to the fake clocks that had us going around and around, and constantly, stepping on the minefields of these spells. And go ahead. Constantly stepping on the minefields of these spells and then being pushed back into them because of fear. Okay, so everything in the false matrix was a fear-based, trying to keep you stuck by utilizing fear and fear agendas. And they did that a lot of the time through their mental magic, their mental fuckery, the programs. Mars has been plowing through all of that and helping us to break free in the mind of all of the ways we've been programmed to fear ourselves and to fear that which we shouldn't be afraid of. These things that we were taught to fear should be afraid of us. That's the truth when you know who you are. So Mars is moving through, it's at 28 degrees, it's moving towards the end of Gemini. This is 10 of Swords energy, closing out those betrayal cycles. And the ultimate betrayal cycles are the ones that happen to us internally, where we literally betrayed our own divine DNA and its expression by adhering to this shit. That's the ultimate betrayal cycle. What happened to us with one another and other people was just a reflection of what it was that was energetically happening within our own energy fields, because that's what we were enacting against our own souls. So 28 degrees is a degree of Cancer. You know, it's also canceling that energy that kept us separated from the dragons and the dragon consciousness, the dragons of the grid lines, the primordial creatures through which the creator templates of many things come forth. The dragons are some of the architects of the earth. They are the true architects of the earth. They hold the creator templates that allow us to birth through the waters and bring things forward. Okay, so we need to be, the dragons are what help us to connect to our emotions and know how to be birthers too, which is why they wanted them shut down and also demonized. They wanted you afraid of dragons. And Christianity did a fucking amazing job at that also, making you afraid of the very energies that are here to help you alchemize your waters so that your currency can flow in with ease. They had to shut the dragons down to control the waters. Maritime law would not have come in place with the dragons. Could not have happened. This is why it's going down. Because the true currency has always been the water. Okay, water is what divides and connects all worlds. You can flow anywhere through the waters, through your emotions. You can go anywhere. You can birth anything. And when you remember how to do that, you'll see that this is why they had to control the waters and then turn currency into something that has no value whatsoever, which was money. It became money. Okay, so Mars is still fighting for your mind, helping you to let go of the paradigms and the programs and the agendas that want to cause you to fight yourself and your truth. Jupiter in Gemini at 19 degrees. Okay, so Jupiter is, all about our ability to live expansively as we are cosmologically on the earth, as it's written in the heavens, right? So 19 degrees is the 9 of Swords. So Jupiter is with Mars breaking us out of the mental prisons that have kept us out of our ability to live our infinite multidimensional truth, free of all of the slavery templates and the clock fuckery that had us stuck in the time continuum sequences that kept us from actualizing our true creator abilities and connecting with the true architecture, geometry, and the templates that allow us to bring forth everything onto the earth planes in accordance with who we are and our own special giftings. Incredible time to be alive right now. 19, not for nothing, is a degree of Libra, so it is about balance, but astrologically speaking, it's a degree of Libra, but its tarot connection is Leo, so the Sun card, and the Sun is where you get when you have recovered your energy and you're whole. Okay, so 19 will always be about alignment in some way, shape, or form. Okay, so Saturn is still at 16 degrees Pisces. This is Tower energy. Tower energy on a lot of these Age of Pisces contracts that don't want to let go. A lot of storm energy around that right now. Okay, Uranus gestation to retrograde at 27 degrees Taurus, so it'll be going back, right? And going back and chilling also again at that 26 degree mark of Algol, which will again take us back into this energy that Mercury also reintroduced us to when it went direct a few days ago at 21 degrees Leo. Uranus Mars conjunction at 26 degrees. It was a very important date and time, and hence the reason why we're going to keep on being pulled into certain energies that aligned with that in order to alchemize and to bring into fruition exactly what those energies opened up for us. And what those energies opened up for us was the ability to end the persecution timelines of the false matrix. And not only the persecution as it exists on this earth, but the persecution as it existed within your own soul's remembrance, and therefore inability to cross past the fear barriers that your persecuted timeline still had you stuck in your mental and your emotional bodies, even though you might not be consciously aware. Okay? Now, last thing I want to just take a quick look at and talk about is the nodes, right? So the North Node is at 7 degrees Aries, South Node is at 7 degrees Libra, that's 7-7, that's Saturnian energy, speaking very loudly to us, not for nothing. Saturn is at 16 degrees, which is 7 energy also, so more Saturnian energy. Okay, what I really want to kind of look at very quickly, though, is how the South Node in Libra is in direct conversation with Lilith, who is at 7 degrees Libra, and talk about that very powerful divine feminine energy that is here to break us out of persecution. That's Medusa. This is Lilith right here. Lilith is here to fight for our ability to be liberated and to put an end to these persecutions around our ability to be who we are in our power, especially be who we are in our divine feminine power. And again, that applies to all of us, men, women, everyone. Okay, to be who we are in our divine feminine power, which means ultimately to be reconnected with our ability to create properly. Okay, you weren't sent here to manifest. Manifesting is fine, but it's a lower form of creation. It's a lower form of creation. It is creating things from what already exists in your temporal space, when you are here to pull things from the cosmos. Things that you've been told aren't real. You're supposed to be able to pull those things onto the earth planes in accordance with who you are and your giftings. That's creation. Okay? So, that's what I have for you. I hope that this reading was helpful and insightful. I'm wishing you a really beautiful new moon in Virgo. Hang in there, because this energy is tough. It's beautiful. You know, I hope that this has inspired you to know what's happening behind a lot of the craziness, because it's manifesting for us in different ways right now. As you close out some really arduous cycles and get back to the seed point, you have to alchemize that seed point energy, and that don't feel good. You got to deal with the fears that come up that were the introduction into you betraying yourself to begin with. You got to deal with it, and you got to alchemize the fuck out of it, and it ain't easy. You know, so I'm sending you guys all love. For information on how to work with me, you can check out my website, solara.info. If you'd like to book with me for a one-to-one or even a reading, then please shoot me an email, solaraspeaks@proton.me. Please use a Proton address for bookings, okay? Especially, like, you can still write me there, but bookings very specifically, just so I can bypass all of the fuckery that comes from the other accounts. You can send things to the other accounts too, but if you don't hear back from me, send it again, and send it to the Proton account this time, because I've been dealing with that. I don't think it's going to be an issue anymore, but I have been dealing with that. So yes, if you'd like to join me on Substack, I'll put the information for that below also. I will let you know when I'm back to doing groups. I am probably not going to do one this Wednesday, maybe this Saturday. Let me feel my way through the new moon tomorrow, and I'll get back to you guys by Wednesday. And if I do a Saturday mid-group check-in with live guidance and card pull, I will let you know how you are able to join that on the community board. But I'm sending you so much fucking new moon and Virgo love. The gates are open, guys. The gates are open. So look after yourselves. Make sure your self-care is top tier right now, a la Virgo style, okay? Virgo knows how to help you look after yourself. You're not a fucking machine. You are a living, organic being, okay? And you're a love-based, soul-based being. You're not here to live like a machine. So let go of that. That's why they had you connected to those fake fucking clocks, so you would be acting and living like you were a machine. You're not. Okay, so I'm sending you so much love. I will be back again for the full moon in Pisces. Until next time, be well.